I realize that I have the unenviable position of standing between you and lunch. And I started to think that maybe Pecha Kucha is Japanese for no time for jokes. So boy, the pressure with this. So I'm ready to get started. So do you remember your neighborhood growing up? When you ask people this question, most people talk about the freedom to roam and play, the close friendships they had in their neighborhood. They talk about the characters in their lives and the features of their place as children. So what I'm talking about this morning is the power of place. With My Neighborhood, My Future, we believe in the power of place. That where a child lives and the conditions in that neighborhood have a strong bearing on the life course of that child. Now, this is not a new concept for any of us. Growing up as a typical Canadian kid, I remember Sesame Street and the song, Those Are the People in Your Neighborhood, and Mr. Rogers. Now, every time he would slip on his blue sneakers, he would teach us about the importance of neighborhood. It takes a village, love thy neighbor, you know the rest. Like many organizations, the United Way has had years of research in supporting children and families. United Way donors have invested millions into the well-being of children. We are guided by evidence and informed by our relationships. In fact, we depend completely on those relationships. Similar to our neighbors, we rely on the generosity of our neighbors. For those of us who have been working to support the needs of children and families for years, we've dreamed about the chance to do something different and something big. Something that will marry the generosity of donors with the savvy of local business, the ingenuity of neighborhood champions, the resources of a city, and the quality work of community agencies. My Neighborhood, My Future was designed by United Way, the Human Early Learning Partnership out at UBC, Spark of BC, as a response to our years of learning about child development, the power of place, and chronic vulnerability, and conditions like poverty. We knew that we had to do something differently. We knew that children in our neighborhoods continue to struggle to be ready for school and ready to succeed in life. This represents an intensive 5-year investment starting with $800,000 per year in 2 neighborhoods that were selected after a quantitative and qualitative process. Now, choosing 2 places with dozens of possibilities in our region was difficult, but we're on our way. And I'm happy to say one of those neighborhoods is in Surrey. Surrey was chosen because of its readiness to take something like this on, because of the demonstrated leadership on early years work. If you think about the work of the Children's Partnership, about Surrey Children's First, about the libraries, about the Surrey Board of Trade, and the new Smarter Cities initiative, it just makes sense to work in Surrey. Many have said that it would be tough to pick a neighborhood, but that any neighborhood in Surrey would be a good choice. This summer we worked with local stakeholders to make that final choice, and I think it's a great one. Guildford West is the area roughly between 100th Avenue to the south, Fraser River to the north, 144th Street to the west, and Highway 1 to the east. It's important to know that these boundaries that we're using come from the Human Early Learning Partnership and how they define their EDI neighborhoods. Now, according to that instrument, the EDI, this neighborhood has faced a vulnerability rate for children of over 40% on each wave of the EDI. That's significant. It is a complex neighborhood with complex needs. It's a destination for new Canadians and young families. And it is a place undergoing dramatic physical change as well. The neighborhood has been described as tough, transient, and temporary. And according to recent census and household income data, and I think you saw some of that this morning, they estimate that 42% of children in that neighborhood live in conditions of poverty. It sits at the lowest level, so 1 out of 5 on the Human Early Learning Partnership's Socioeconomic Status Index. So what are we doing about this? We all share the responsibility of making the future better for kids in our neighborhoods. United Way, along with its partners, the Children's Partnership, the city, the school district, Fraser Health, the library and MCFD, and community agencies We'll be coming together to work with residents and experts to design solutions that work for that neighborhood in support of young children. Looking ahead, we see My Neighborhood, My Future as a chance to put experience into practice, and a chance to change the future for hundreds of children and, young children and their families in that neighborhood. But what will be different there? What will this look like in 5 years? We can imagine this, but the beauty and the challenge of a community development approach, as most of you in this room know, is the mystery about what will be. I imagine that new parents will have better access to information and training, that services will come to where families need them, and that new affordable childcare spaces could open up. I see local businesses learning about creating family-friendly workplaces. I see a welcoming place for families to go for parenting support, recreation, literacy training, and nutrition education. What is really different is the scope and the scale of this investment, the process that's being used, the desire to ensure local governance of this work, to engage local employers and businesses, and the aspiration to change for the better the life course of children and their families, one neighborhood at a time. The late Clyde Hertzman used to be fond of saying, no data, no problem, no action. And I think we have new data, and we have amazing people working together with us to make a difference. We want lasting solutions that work for families to come from that neighborhood. And I love our city's slogan, the future lives here. So I say, let's make this happen. Thank you.